Hi, everybody. It's Doc Sports. We're back with another Doc's Daily Show. And we got the three amigos are back together. These two yahoos come back from fishing and partying in New Orleans last week with several of the Doc Sports family. But we are all back together, and it's that time of year where we're on the downhill sprint to March Madness. And, of course, last time when these guys weren't here, we didn't have NBA or NHL, if you remember. So we got all three sports ready to rock and roll. And before we get to it, don't forget, get that free $60 account. All you got to do is go to docsports.com/free60, and you'll get all new customers. If you're not a new customer, of course, you got to go to the grid. You know how to get in. And for $30, you can get a daily all those plays for that sport. So if you like the NBA for $30 today, you'll get all the plays. If someone has 5 plays, you'll get all 5 plays. If they just have one, you'll just get one. You can do that for each sport. It's $99 for a week. Right now, we've got the $299. We can get in on $299. That's through. That's for college basketball. That's all the way through the finals for all college basketball plays. That includes if we have NIT plays or any of the other tournaments as well, including conference tournaments. And then the NBA is $399 through the NBA Finals and $379, or I believe, or $375, something like that for the NHL all the way through. So make sure you get in on that. And don't forget, make sure you like and subscribe. Help us out. We're going to do our part every Monday through Friday, show up here at 1 to 1:30 and give you all kinds of free picks. If you help us spread the word, that would be much appreciated. And put in the comments what you like for today. If you have a question on a game or a game you like, if it's relevant, we'll add it, talk about it. So on and so forth. But hey, guys, welcome back. How's the place been? Nick, why don't you kick us off? How you been doing, and what do you got for tonight?
Yeah, we've been steamrolling as of late, especially on the weekend. Friday, Saturday. We swept all sports there, went 6-0 on Friday, Saturday. But Sunday, I had a top play on Purdue. And boy, before halftime, they were up 13, and they forgot to play another half in that one. And Indiana absolutely steamrolled them. They're in the second half, but we're looking to bounce back here tonight. Lower volume card on the college basketball side of things, but we got NHL and the NBA rolling back up here tonight. I got a 2-pack going out tonight. That first play starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're locked and loaded back in Chicago here, Craig. It was fun in New Orleans. Got to see Raphael down there, but enough partying, back to business, and we're ready to lock in this week, Craig.
All right, Griffin, I think you have a big play in the NBA tonight, right?
I do, Craig. I just wanted to bash Nick really quick on his horrible freaking Purdue call that he had yesterday. We cooked up a nice 14 parlay yesterday. All 3 of them hit, and I'm fighting with Nick on the phone all morning. No Purdue, no Purdue. And damn it, there we go, Purdue. We drill them in the 4-legger, and that chops it up. So thanks a lot, Nick. I appreciate that. $6,000 down the tube. Anyways, going back to this, I just wanted to thrash him really quick. I'm on a little bit of a heater right now, Craig. I'm currently 28-17 in my last 45 cards on the NBA side of things. Plus, I want to say 6,100 in profit. 7-unit premium best bet that goes off tonight at 7:30 p.m. I'm currently also really hot in NHL. I'm 5-0 in my last 5 selections. Swept the boards yesterday going 3-0. I want to say I'm on a $3,400 profit run. Nothing going on NHL tonight. I have a 3-play card on the NBA side of things. College hoops has really not been hot as of late. So you know what you do. You buy the dip. I'm ready to roll. I've hit my low. It's now time to peak up. So I've got today a 3-pack card as well in the college hoop side of things, Craig. We're ready to go, locked and loaded. Partying's over. Pissed off at Nick for a little. I'll let that go now.
How about Robert Morris? Don't even get me started with that.
Yeah, all right. I butchered Robert Morris on Saturday. The hell with it. We got each other back. Now it's time to get some winners, gentlemen. So let's
eye for an eye.
All right. So before I get to it, I got a 7-unit play in the NBA tonight. 23-10 run the last 39 days, up 6,950. So tonight we're gonna go over 7,000. The big play has been absolutely rolling. Including both Saturday and Sunday NBA. NHL been, I'm super selective. The last 30 days I've only 11-4 now, so I've only had 15 plays. So it's like one every second or third day. When I put out a play, it's a big play in the NBA in the NHL. So nothing tonight in the NHL. Small play in college basketball night, very small card, and we'll talk about some of that as we get into it. NBA though, kicking us off here, and let's go with the person that didn't cost their friend the parlay. Let's start with Griffin. What do you like in the NBA tonight?
I got you, boys. And I always roll with them, and I'm rolling with this Portland at Utah, but I'm going to be on the other side with this one. Portland, 6-4 in their last 10 games. Absolutely annihilated Charlotte on Saturday in their most recent matchup. Nearly almost double-digit them. Utah right now. They're 14-42 on the year. They're also coming off a massive win, beating Houston nearly by 10 points on Saturday after playing back-to-back games. Portland, they're currently 8-19 on the road this season, 2-3 against the spread as a favorite, and 5-7 against the spread when playing divisional matchups. We've got a divisional matchup here. Utah right now, they're averaging more points per game than Portland. They're also 13th in the NBA across pace of play, and 11th from the perimeter. This game is set up currently with the line at 5.5. All over the public to drill Portland in tonight's matchup, considering the fact that Portland just rallied 141 points in their most recent matchup. In my eyes, this is a huge letdown spot for Portland. This will be Utah's 5th consecutive home game, and this team just fired off a massive win in the West. That's a big mentality booster in my eyes. When you beat the hell out of a crappy team, that's one thing. But when you fire a big victory almost by 10 over a team like Houston, that's going to put some, jugger in you. So in this matchup, I really love Utah here. We're getting 5.5 points. I think this line is shy, which also incents me as a trap. This line should be more in my eyes to 6.5, maybe 7, because it is lower. That even makes me want to take it more because the market is pulling you all over Portland in this matchup. So Craig, in this matchup, give me Utah here. Give me the 5.5 points for heavy insurance. And I would not be surprised to see an outright victory as Portland is just sitting in a letdown spot here, Craig.
Well, remember Portland had that run about a week before the All-Star break. They won like 10 in a row against the spread and outright at like 6 of those games. Then like everybody started jumping on them because, just like anything, anytime you have a run, then they kind of hit the wall a little bit. They're just 1-4 the last 5, both straight up and against the spread. So it's a game. I did have a strong play on Saturday, I believe that was, on when they played Charlotte. I love Portland, and that was, like you said, they almost doubled them up. But that was more Charlotte. Like, Charlotte is just so banged up. And I know they beat the Lakers, but it was like, since then, they got drilled by – so take a grain of salt. That win wasn't as good as what the score looked like. Nick, what do you like here as a free play in the NBA?
Yeah, let's go to Detroit, where we got the Clippers and the Detroit Pistons here. While the Clippers, they're coming in on a 2-game losing streak here, just dropping to the Pacers. While the Pistons, the Detroit Pistons, on a 6-game winning streak here, ladies and gentlemen. They just beat the Atlanta Hawks yesterday. They scored 148 points in that game. In their last 10 games, they're 8-2. They're playing really good basketball, and they're beating teams that they should. But a key guy in this lineup here tonight that I'm taking a close look on is Kawhi Leonard here. He's a game-time decision. He didn't play against the Indiana Pacers. If he's in tonight, this will be a game changer here for the Clippers. You got James Harden still leading the way, doing the dirty work for the offense for this Clippers team. But this Pistons team's been scoring, and they score a lot of points, especially at home. They averaged, I want to say, 115 points per game in the NBA here. This is going to be a game where I think the Clippers will have Kawhi Leonard in this lineup here. It is a -2.5. They are favorites on the road. They're going into a hot Detroit Pistons ball club, but I think the Clippers get the better edge in this game. I would lay the 2.5 points with the Clippers because I think Leonard will be in the lineup here tonight against the Detroit Pistons and snap the Pistons 6-game winning streak here and snap their 2-game losing streak for the Clippers tonight. Craig, take the Los Angeles Clippers -2.5 over the Detroit Pistons tonight.
I think Norman Powell stood out last night too. He's a game time decision as well tonight. So both of them, I would make sure, and I think you're probably on the same. If you're going to play the Clippers, I would wait till game time because last night it looked like they both were a go. And I mean, literally at the tip, you're like, oh, they're neither one of them are dressed. Yep. So this is a team that doesn't, in the NBA, they take all this money from the betting markets, FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, all, go on with whoever, just fill in the blanks. They're all sponsored by them now. They need to make sure there's a cutoff time for when, just like the NFL, when a player is going to be ruled out on game day, because it's one thing if he got injured in the warm-up line or something. They knew he wasn't going to play, and they didn't make the introduction, and so you were stuck with the bet if you played the Clippers last night, and like you said, the Pacers won. So I would wait till game time. I'm actually on the other side in that one. I actually think the Pistons are the play. I don't know what's wrong with the Clippers. I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know. Like so it's not like a strong play, but if I was going to play, I hate when both teams are in a back-to-back.
Consistency.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the back-to-back spots just kill me. So these are usually games I stay away from. But if I was going to play it, I would probably play the Pistons. But if you're going to play the Clippers, PSA, make sure you wait till game time because these guys, especially Kawhi Leonard, is like, I don't know.
You don't know. You never know with the guy.
Yeah. Now, I do like when I can play a team. So I got a free play for you that is rested and motivated versus a team that's in a back-to-back spot. And you know who that is? The Nuggets tonight. The Nuggets, like you know what I mean? Like they got the Lakers handed it to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not a great Lakers team. I mean, they have no – like Jackson Hayes is playing great, but he's really like a backup center, and he's playing starters minutes now. And they shut down Joker. He had a triple-double, but it was like 11 points or something. And he kind of was – I mean, it's hard to say when someone gets a triple-double, he's ineffective. But for him, against Jackson Hayes, that dude should have had 25 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. And, to win, they have to have that. I think tonight against a Pacers team that's not real physical, I think Joker bounces back a big game. And the Pacers have looked great. They beat the Grizzlies and the Clippers. Granted, the Clippers had two guys out. I'll take the Nuggets here. -4, -4.5. The line's going up, so I jump on it right away before it goes up too much more. But I think Denver, they had won 8 in a row before last blowout. So I don't know if you guys have any opinion on Denver tonight. Maybe Griffin, I thought you were shaking your head there.
Yeah, so I was on that one, Craig. I actually have a different game that I wanted to break into, and that was this Minnesota-OKC game. With OKC laying 12.5 points in this matchup, we have a dead set trap. I think OKC is going to absolutely blow this Minnesota team out of the water. Minnesota does play solid on the road this season, but they are on a 2-game losing streak, and they are 4-6 in their last 10 games. So their median is just not there. OKC, on the other hand, they've won 2 games in a row. So looking at this right now, we have a defensive rating right now with OKC sitting at 1st in the NBA. They're also 5th across offensive rating, and they do have the MVP with Shai Alexander leading the charge. This guy's absolutely outstanding. Right now, Minnesota, they are purely potent defense, and they always have been. Last year, they were even better on the defensive side. This year, still a defensive team. They're solid on the offensive side of the ball, but just not that solid. We have a current total sitting at 228.5. I believe this is going to turn into a blowout game, and that brings a liability factor into my eyes. If OKC blows Minnesota out, that is going to keep this at minimal score. So give me the under in this matchup at 228.5, Craig. I like the under in this game. I believe OKC is going to blow them out just by this number. It's already set up as a trap line. So if that does turn into be the case, OKC covers this game and the under smacks at 228.5, Craig. There's a little 2-team parlay for you guys. If you guys want to throw that in, same game 2-teamer. Yep. Take the under and lay the points with OKC if you have the whales, the cojones to actually lay the 12.5 against Minnesota.
I mean, the Celtics last year were the team that, they were killing teams.
Yeah.
But, I mean, usually in the NBA, you lay more than 10 points. That's death for a better. Last year, the Celtics, that was not the case. They consistently beat teams 15, 16, 20 points. I mean, they would beat them in a quarter by 20 points. I mean, and this year, that team has been the Thunder. I mean, the Thunder, they're number 1 in almost every defensive category, which you don't think they were because you look at the points. They score, you're like, there's no way this team would be good. But they're just murder teams. They can lock you down. Every player is good on defense. They got Chet back. I think this is an absolute blowout. I think this is 20+ because the much deeper team, and I mean much deeper team and younger, is this Thunder team at home. I would lay the points. And, I probably laid this year more than -10, maybe one time as a top play. So that tells you I really like it.
Craig, are we getting parlay action here? What are we thinking?
I'm a little worried about the under.
You don't like the under?
I like it, but it's I'm a little worried about it because Minnesota. I just don't know what to expect from Minnesota in a back-to-back. You know what I mean? I just think the safer play is OKC just absolutely boat races them. First team to 100, they get 103/4. I think. OKC. Now, that sometimes is really good for the under because then the fourth quarter, none of the starters play on either teams. We had that, I think, right before the All-Star break. These two teams played. It was in Minnesota. I'm pretty sure it was OKC. And they only scored 38 points in the fourth quarter. And I had the under, and it went under. So sometimes, the blowout in 3 quarters can lead to low-scoring late games because we don't see much action in the starters and not a lot of whole motivation for either one to go score, if you know what I mean.
We'll
Okay.
as a parlay.
Let's move to college hoops. Small card today.
Yeah.
But this is one of those days that I think there's several hidden gem games here. Nick, why don't you start us off with the free play here? Is there something you like in the college hoops card here?
Yeah, let's go to the ACC. We got North Carolina and Florida State. North Carolina having a down year. They're 6th right now in the ACC, but they're on a 3-game winning streak. Florida State just lost on Saturday against Louisville there. North Carolina, they're 2 games below 500 here, though, on the road this season coming into this one, while Florida State, they're 10-4 at home this season. This is where they play their best basketball. North Carolina, they score a ton of points, averaging almost 80 points per game here, but their defense just has not been there this year. That's why they have 11 losses on the season. Florida State, on the other hand, they play very good defense here, especially at home. But if and when North Carolina knocks down their shots tonight, it's going to be much harder for this Florida State team to come back on North Carolina after North Carolina takes the lead. So I would lay the wood here with the North Carolina Tar Heels -2.5 at Florida State tonight, Craig.
I will say this. Florida State, I watched a lot of that Louisville game. And Louisville had them down like big. I mean, big. And Florida State did battle back. And, Little Hamilton, I'm always like, we've seen different things happen with these lame duck coaches. Florida State has, kind of been middling, I would say. Indiana, on the other hand, Mike Woodson they're playing their best basketball. They played under him since he's announced that he's stepping down at the end of the season. So Florida State, though, they did show a little fight back, I will say. But this number is it's almost so low it scared me off. I was looking at this as maybe a premium play, and I'm like, is this senior night? That's what I'm always worried about. I was like, is it? I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
We're 2 weeks, like a week and a half, so most teams have 4 or 5 games left. But you have to start being careful here because we are coming up on some of these smaller conferences that start a week early. So just a PSA, be careful. Lane, if you see a team that's on the road that's favored and it's lower than you think in the next week, it might be senior night at home, and that's when you see some upsets. So I do think North Carolina gets it done here, but I'm a little nervous because it's just like when the line seems too easy, like that's when I just get this. Especially in college basketball. Like more than any other sport, it's like if you see a fishy line, you're like, oh, I really like that. There's no way North Carolina can't win by 3. And then Florida State comes out and wins by 12, and you're like, okay, so who knew something here?
There's fishy lines all today, too. You got Michigan, Nebraska, and then what's the other one? Houston.
The Kansas game.
Dale, Brian Solano, how we doing, gentlemen? Thank you guys for jumping in.
Let me go with the free play here. I did it as an individual video. Kansas, Colorado tonight. Like, if this doesn't sound like a trap game for Kansas, one, they have not won on the road in over a month. I think it was the 23rd was their last road win on the road. So they have just and it's not been close. Some of these games, they're getting absolutely trounced to teams that they are just more talented in. Are they more talented than Colorado? Absolutely. But you're playing at the altitude in Colorado where, and I don't care what Kansas record is, they could be 500 on the year. You know who you want to beat if you're in the Big 12? The Big 12 has gone through Kansas for my whole lifetime, and I'm getting ready to turn 50 this year. So it's like 30 years Kansas has owned this conference. Not anymore, but people still want to beat up on Kansas. I like Colorado plus the points at 6-7, depending on where you get out. I see them all over, so make sure you search it. I also think you sprinkle a little of the money line here. I don't know. Justin says it. They're just at home. They're great, but there just isn't that good of a team. And when your coach was rumored, and I cannot believe this, they said he was rumored to maybe go to Oklahoma State. He said he was just talking to them about their coaching on what they should be looking for from a coach. What coach in the conference talks to another? It sounded suspicious. And then, of course, they ran Oklahoma State out of the Fog Island. But let's take the points here. Griffin, am I crazy then? And then you go with your free play.
No, Craig, not at all. You actually stole that is my free play. I'm on the same play, brother. I like Colorado here. Kansas can't win on the road, man. They're 3-7. They just went back-to-back games on the road, dropped both of them. Then they go back home and shell Oklahoma State by nearly 30 points. So the obvious issue is they can't win on the road. The team is not playing good basketball. They're playing back and forth. They're inconsistent. They're a liability in my eyes on the road. I don't trust them. So I absolutely agree with you on Colorado. Give me them with the 6.5 points. And I'm not against sprinkling a little bit on the money line because, as I've mentioned, Colorado or Kansas, they have been a letdown team on the road. But with that being said, let's jump into this game. I really like this game. We got Houston at Texas Tech. And I mean, Houston, they continue to fly, man. 9-1 in their last 10 games, just beat Iowa State by nearly double digits. This team's won 6 consecutive games, and they're heating up as we're entering March Madness nearly. Texas Tech, nothing to take away from this team. They are having a hell of a season. 21-6 on the year. The issue with Texas Tech in this matchup is they're an offensive thrive team under head coach Grant McCasland. Calvin Sampson for this Houston team knows exactly how to slow down offensive potent teams, as Houston just locked up Iowa State to 59 points, Arizona to 58 points, and Baylor, who is an all-offensive team, to 65 points. 65 points will give Baylor a little leadway because they just bang from the arc. They're phenomenal. Houston, they will and they can score points on absolutely anybody. They're one of the top contenders in the nation in my eyes. Houston also holds a perfect 8-0 record on the road. So in this matchup, Craig, I'm shaving the points. I'm not getting beat by a hook. Give me Houston here on the money line at a -125 line. The current line is 1.5. Deplete that, ladies and gentlemen. Take Houston to win this game outright. Make it 7 in a row and make it 9-0 on the road this season with Houston.
I think Houston's a little motivated because when the brackets came out, I think they somewhat feel a little disrespected, if you know what I mean, because I think they were a 2 or a 3 seed, and they feel like they should be an overall, a 1 seed in one of the brackets. Of and I think they're playing like it. When you're a team like this and you know that you've got everything's in front of you as far as national champion, Big 12 champion, Big 12 conference championship week, but like the tournament championship, like it's like you use motivation. And Kelvin Sampson, I think we talked about last week with Robert. Imagine Indiana jobs open for the second time since he left, and you had that guy. If you just would have been like, "Hey, let's slap him on the wrist for this little phone thing that he did." I mean, they did it once, but like they had their coach. This dude is absolute just gamer coach. Like this year, I think there's 2 coaches that are going to be up for coach of the year. I think Sampson and probably Rick Pitino is going to get it because what he's done at St. John's has been unbelievable. But these 2, like. Bruce Pearl will be up there as well because they're going to be the overall #1 seed unless something happens. So those 3 have done great jobs. But Auburn's been really good the last 3 or 4 years. These teams, and I guess Houston has as well, but I just think he just keeps redoing it. And Houston plays bad for and I won't say bad. They just play close games for 30 minutes, and then they just wear you down. And for 5 minutes, they go on a 12-0 run, and it's over.
Yeah,
they did it at
Arizona.
Was at Arizona. They played their absolute worst game of their probably conference year. And it was really not that close. It was 4 or 5, 6 late. But when you're 4 or 5, 6 against this defense late, you're not winning because you're not scoring 3 baskets in a row in the last minute. You can hardly score in a minute against them. I do like Houston. In fact, Houston money line is my 2-unit small play in college basketball night as a premium play. So there you go. You guys don't have to buy that. Just buy the NBA tonight. And you'll appreciate the 7-unit winner. But I want to ask you guys about a question, and I don't know, you guys might actually have a pick on this game. But I think there's one other game that I think just jumps off the board at me, and it's this late game. I can't find. Michigan, Nebraska, 8:00 game. Michigan, they did not look great at home against rival Michigan State. It's kind of like maybe they were believing too much about, their press clippings. Their coach, May, was because he was a ball boy at Indiana, was being brought up, and now they've signed him to an extension, so that distraction's out of the way. But the line is only Michigan -1. Yeah. Nebraska didn't play great last time out. What do you guys think about this one?
Nebraska is on my do not bet list. That is for sure. So if anybody watching this show knows on the premium side, they've been doing me dirty. So I'm going to play devil's advocate, go with Michigan, lay the points. I'm not touching Nebraska, even though they play great at home. I think this is a bounce back spot, especially after their loss to Michigan State there at home.
I got a primo on this one, Craig, so I don't want to jump into this one whatsoever. But just think about this. They lost Nebraska
17 points to Penn State. And I know Penn State is a good team at home, a completely different team at home. But 17 points. And it was like, I believe it was 25 or 30 at half. And I'm going to be a little sour here because just like Nick, I had a premium play on Nebraska on the road. And I had one the game before at Northwestern. They came back. I was like, okay, they're not going to get off the 2 slow starts in a row. And then they absolutely just didn't show up. So I'm playing Michigan. I think it's a bounce back spot. I think May, that distraction of the Indiana job is gone. That I think will, you're on a team. He's the first-year coach. And he's like, we had thought about like he was going to go to a Big Ten rival in Indiana. So now that's not happening. I think they play well tonight. Now, Fred Hoiberg at home and Nebraska at home is just a different bird. But I still think Michigan, and I think late game, if it's close, he's like May is, I think, the best X's and O coach late. I mean, that's how good I think he is. So I think if it's close late, Michigan gets the edge. It's small, I think it's Michigan -1. We'll take that. Now, we're going to have to move to the NHL. We only have 5 minutes. There's only 2 games today. And so, like, Nick, I think you have a small play, right, in NHL tonight?
Yeah, I have a smaller play.
But I'm guessing you have another free play here on the other game?
Yeah, I do. Against the Golden Knights and the Kings here.
All right, give us. It's Vegas -120, so it's like it's playable. It almost seems too easy here. Like the Knights seem like the play. I don't know though.
Exactly. It almost seems too good. Too good to be true here. While the Golden Knights, they're coming in first in the Pacific, while the Kings, they're third in the Pacific here. Both teams, they just won their most recent game. Kings won on Saturday against Utah, while Vegas won at home against the Canucks there on Saturday. The question, though, with this Vegas team all year is the consistency on the road. Can they get wins on the road? As tonight, they are 14-11 this season on the road. The Kings, they play their best hockey at home, ladies and gentlemen. They're 18-3, but here's the kicker. This is a divisional matchup. The Kings in divisional play, they're under 500, 1 game. They're 7-8. While the Vegas Golden Knights in the Pacific, they're 15-2. They've been absolutely dominating the Pacific this year. I know it looks too good to be true with that Los Angeles Kings, but ladies and gentlemen, do not fall in this trap as the Kings show this year that they dominate the Pacific. So I'm riding with the Las Vegas Golden Knights money line over the Los Angeles Kings in tonight's game, Craig.
Little steak sizzle there, Nick. I like that. I like that.
Divisional play, baby.
Come on now. All right.
We got hockey back. I'm jacked up. Let's go.
First of all, I want to say I was kind of making fun of them, to be very honest, when they had the 2-week break for the 4 Nations. And I want to be honest, I was a non-believer.
It was great.
They got it right. Let's just say
they
got it right. Now, maybe next year, I don't want to tell them what to do. Maybe make it 2 nations. Just have a 5, it's like the best of 5. You play with a game in between, so you play every other day, and you just go around the country and Canada. You play in 5 different locations, and you play Canada versus the U.S. Maybe you bring on it's like the JV circuit. The other 2 teams play each other too, and they play before, and you see some good hockey. But it's all going to be about the U.S. versus Canada. And me and Raphael love the under. Had to sweat it out when it was 2-2, and they had to go the whole third quarter without a goal, and we did get the under. So, and he did. Just for all you guys, he actually said he liked Canada too because he thought it was going to get him real close to even money or even a plus money, depending on where you bet it at. And so he actually gave you out the little 2-team parlay. So I do think the NHL tonight, it's a 1-game card because the other one's -520. I mean, come on, dude. Like, that's just.
Hey, there's a play. There's
no one that should be laying. Do not put that in your parlay.
Lay it +2.5 with San Jose, especially with Halleback in the net. That's why the value is so high on the Winnipeg Jets. You see that. Look at him against you when he was USA. He was great in net. He's back here tonight. He got the day off in their first game since being back from that break. But you're giving me 2.5 goals at plus value any day of the week. Take those goals with you in your back pocket. Don't sprinkle a little pizza money on that. That's ridiculous.
I always like the +2.5. +1.5 is one thing because you get the empty netters at the end and just steal your soul. It's like it's 1-1 going into the fourth. They score with 3 minutes to go. All of a sudden, they pull the goalie. They score another one, and then you lose the -1.5. But when you're getting 2.5, it has to happen twice if they have a close game. So I like that +2.5 with the underdog. I do think. Obviously, I think Winnipeg's going to win. But you know what happens? And I've been in Vegas sports books a million times. People will put this, why I have no clue. with every game bet they bet. They'll parlay everything because they get a little extra, basically the lock. And then all of a sudden,
stupid. Yep.
Something happens and, like they're all pros and all of a sudden they lose and you lose every other bet. Do not parlay big minus numbers just thinking like these teams can't win. It doesn't matter what you talk about. It could be any sport. Do not parlay big money lines with your other bets that you really like, because more often than not, there's going to be one a night that some big underdog wins outright, and it just ruins your whole day because you were right on all your opinions, but you tagged them with a play you really didn't like. You're just trying to get some free, what you think is free money. There's no free money. Let me just tell you that in Vegas, in sports books, there's no free money. When they say free $20 in slot credit that ain't free, because guess what? When you come there, you ain't just playing that 20. You're going to spend that 20 and you're going to put another 20 in. So now it's not free. PSA there.
Drinks.
Yeah. They give you. There's a reason why they give you free drinks, because when you get free drinks, all of a sudden your wallet comes out faster. Oh, let's just get a couple. What are these Benjamins? These Benjamins need to get in action here. I need to put this on the craps table. So, hey, when I'm in Vegas, I'm a big drinker. I think you're there to have fun and push it out. Now, not when I'm in the sports books, or if I do, I bet all my bets before I start saucing it up, because once you do sauce it up, your mind's just not clear. Life lessons with Craig Trapp. Yeah, we got some production help behind the scenes now. So, yeah, there you go. All right, so little quick recap, and then we'll get out of here. Don't forget to get the free $60 account. Go to DocSports.com/free60, and that's 100% free. There's no credit card you have to give. All you got to do is sign up. It's only for new customers, and if you're an existing customer, you can still get our top plays, of course. Go to the grid. Today I have a 7-unit. Griffin has a 7-unit. Nick doesn't have any 7 units or 8 units today, but that's where you find all of our plays. So if you want, say, the NBA that I like or Griffin likes, you just go to us. It's $30 per day per sport, and $99 for a week per sport. So make sure you check it out in the grid. And don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, just the 3 amigos. Wednesday, we'll have Raphael with the 3 amigos. Then Thursday and Friday, we'll have Robert with the 3 of us. So we're going to be locked and loaded, and we're going to start to corner Robert down on some of these conference tournaments, because I'm not a huge future guy, because I think I've said this when we talked, because you don't want to outlay your money for months, and they're
right.
You can put it to use in other ways. I do like playing conference tournaments because it's 4 or 5 days. So make sure you do so. Like and subscribe, and we will see you again tomorrow. And make sure you leave in the comments, even if you're after the case. I do kind of answer the comments after. So if you're after, you can put in the comments if you have a question. All right, guys, have a good day. And guys, hopefully Nick doesn't cost you a parlay today.